Do you ever find yourself yearning to look beyond the obvious and dreaming about what's possible in your next chapter? Welcome to the Next Chapter Experience. I'm your host, Jeanette Blissett, former corporate executive who turned the page to become a best-selling author, entrepreneur, designer, and lifestyle business consultant. Episodes feature me and a kaleidoscope of guests who share their journeys with wit, candor, and humor, breathing life into real talks about things that matter most. I believe we all have a fire burning within us, waiting to be unleashed and shared with the world. It may just be a matter of time. So let's get together, turn the page, and get this adventure started. Welcome to the Next Chapter Experience. I'm your host, Jeanette Blissett. Today's guest is Jen Campbell. Jen has cultivated a personal network to impact millions of people on social media through her personal brand. She was chosen and recognized by Facebook Inc. for the North American Community Leaders Summit in 2019, 2020, and 2021. She believes that your personal brand is more than just logos and colors or even just a tagline. It's how you show up online authentically, so people see the good in you and what you do. With the increasing spread of online shaming and cancel culture, she believes personal branding is not just for celebrities. It is necessary to brand you before others do. So please welcome our guest, personal brand strategist, Jen Campbell. Jen, welcome to the Next Chapter Experience. Looking forward to part 2 of our conversation.
Heck yeah. And it's something small that you can do that you don't realize. And it needs to be the legit you, not the you 10 years and 20 pounds ago, how you look now, because you want people to recognize you if they see you in the grocery store. And I hate photo filters. I'm all for looking your best. And I'm like, okay, work out. If you want to do a nip, a tuck, a filler or whatever, if you're doing it to try to impress other people or to be a certain thing or show up a certain way, no.
You've given us some really solid gold perspectives on how to actually position yourself. So I guess the converse would be the wrong thing to do.
Oh, heck yeah. The biggest mistakes that people make on social media are not showing up with authenticity, not positioning themselves or being around the people that they want to be associated with. How many people have you heard about being fired because of something they posted on their social media personally? Or brands and companies that get canceled, CEOs that get booted out of what they're doing because they make some random comment or they repost something. I have been on Facebook now for 13 or 14 years. I've never deleted a post. I hid one past post because I want to protect my children's privacy, and there's a lot of creepers and trollers out there. But I own my words. So if you're ever in doubt, don't post it. Wait a minute to cool off. Would you post it or would you say it in front of someone and to their face? If you wouldn't, don't put it on there. And I seek, Gandhi says, seek first for understanding. I try to do that, give people the benefit of the doubt. No, they didn't intend to offend. Sometimes they did, but I'm going to see the good.
It certainly is a way to set yourself apart because we have enough people who are just talking heads, spewing negativity, spewing lies.
Right.
Enough of that.
Control your feed. And that's what people don't realize. Every social media algorithm, the more you engage, you like, you make a comment, it will show you more of that and more of those people you follow. So I'm very intentional. I spend a lot of time on social media because that's my personal branding focus. I'm very intentional about who I follow because I want to feel a certain way. I follow other entrepreneurs that are inspiring, people that have positive messages, not like woo-woo, the sky is great, everything's happy with life. And I've been able to form those deep and meaningful connections through social media. Some of the best relationships I have are with people I've never met in real life or I've only seen once in person. It's possible if you are able to connect authentically with people. Or if there's a friend or a person that you want to see more, if you click on their profile, that's a trigger. Even if you don't engage with anything, if you go directly to their profile, it will show you more of that person. And I don't ever say, oh, unfriend me or unfollow me. I don't care because I follow people that aren't like me. I love to have a diverse group of people I'm surrounding myself so I can have different ideas and different things that people value. I don't want everyone else like me. I live in a very homogenous community in the middle of Idaho. I love that I have friends all over the world from different backgrounds that value different things, that do different things for work. So
yeah, I can appreciate that.
And this is the other thing thing, when we're talking about personal branding, identity is a huge component of that. Like, how do you identify yourself? What labels do you give yourself? And those self-identifying things are even more important than the way that everyone else identifies you. A personal brand is how you see yourself, how others see you, and how you want to be seen. And when those three things align, that's an ideal personal brand. When they're disconnected, that's when people get canceled and misunderstood, because I want to see myself one way, but everyone else sees me another way. So what do I need to do to bring those two things together so that they really resonate and you're seeing me the way that I want to be seen?
Now that is fire right there.
Thank you.
That is just so flat out crystal clear about brand identity. Now I understand the brand strategist piece and the work that you can do with an individual who wants to have brand clarity on who they are, how they show up, and how others see them.
Because there are some labels that I have that I might identify with, but that's not what I use to position myself. My religion is very important to me, but I don't say that I'm this. I want you to experience who I am, and that's what you feel from me. But there's other people that are like, I'm a Christian mommy blogger, and that's how they identify. That's how they want to position themselves. And that's great. Knowing that, you're going to attract those people. It's all of a sudden, if they've never mentioned what they believe, and then something comes up and they take a political stand on it, or a current event or something like that, that there can be a disconnect or issue. Or they've said, I'm a Christian mommy blogger or writer, and then they're not acting like. You look at the political landscape. You look at our former president, there are people who love him or hate him. There are not very many people I know who are like lukewarm about the dude, right? And regardless of how you feel, his personal brand is very clear. This is who I am. This is what I believe, and I'm unapologetic about it. So the people that loved him completely and the people that can't stand the dude. And that's great, because you're the same way. Every person is the same way. You don't necessarily need to be polarizing in your opinions, but you want to attract those people who are fanatical, that absolutely adore who you are, that are going to be like, oh my gosh, you need to work with Jeanette. She's fantastic. You need to know all about her, because this is what's amazing about her. They're your best advertisers. They're your best advocates, because they feel connected. They're your biggest fans. I'm going to say one more thing too. There are a lot of different podcasts out there, and there's opportunities to be a podcast guest. I intentionally chose you based on who you are.
Thank you so much.
Because I do a personalized letter to people and say, okay, this is who I am. This is why you should choose me for a guest. But I don't give it to everyone, because I know that my identity is going to be linked with other people I surround myself with. So that's another thing on social media. Who are your friends? Because if there are a lot of rabble rousers around there, maybe you don't need to be friends with them. Or maybe you do, because you're a little rabble rouser yourself.
Everyone's an individual. And I know the only thing that you can control is yourself.
Heck yeah.
And because you don't actually experience anyone else's journey, you really don't know as much as you think you do about people.
You know what they tell you and what they show you, right? And their personal brand, but recognizing that everyone has a story, seeing what that chapter is that they're at in that life, where they're at in their book of life, and walk beside them through that process to experience part of that story with them. It's an amazing thing to be part of someone's journey. It's a connection with people. It's who you are, not what you do. My wedding, we had 200 guests there. Over half the people were my Starbucks customers. They followed me from store to store, and I'm from the Seattle area where there's Starbucks, more than one on every corner. And I had a group of loyal customers that followed me from location to location as I got promoted because of the community and environment that I created. And you can create that in a physical space with where you work and in your home, but you can also create that virtually.
Absolutely. You know what? One of the reasons I really was intrigued by you and wanted an opportunity to have a conversation with you is, number one, your energy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The energy, and I could feel that energy, and it immediately put a smile on my face. Immediately.
Oh, wonderful.
Put a smile on. And then I thought to myself, there are so many people who are trying to make a difference and putting their best foot forward and feeling like they just don't matter. And I really wanted them to hear you from a brand strategy standpoint, propose to them that they have a uniqueness.
Yes.
Everyone has something to offer, and it's a matter of strategically presenting yourself in a way that will help you attract people that you would like to actually attract to your business or into your life.
They want to connect. And so that's what I work with my clients to tell that personal brand story to connect. And you think about those motivational speakers people that I know too, and they have this amazing story of being homeless and then bringing themselves up and then making millions of dollars. But there is extraordinary in the lives of ordinary people.
It's so true, because we look at the celebrities, the influencers, they're always all over the place. But I do believe that there are ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things with their life, and they deserve an opportunity to show up and also to change the world based on who they are and what they offer.
Bob, my mailman, when I lived in Massachusetts, he was like, "Hey, Mrs. Campbell, how are you?" And he'd have like his little mail pouch, like old school, and deliver the mail to our mailbox. He knew who I was. He was always friendly and polite. He would chat with me about things. And I would tell my partners, is what we call like the employees at Starbucks, I would tell them, you have the power to impact someone's day for good. A lot of times you might be the first person that they see in the morning before they've even talked to a spouse or a partner or done anything else or showed up at work. You have the opportunity when you hand that cup of coffee to them to make their day a little bit brighter, to help them feel seen, recognized, acknowledged. And that's an amazing thing.
Absolutely.
And another thing, you can measure society by the way that they treat their aging population and whether or not they value them. That's a whole other issue that I have. A lot of times, wisdom, experience is not valued in America, is in certain other cultures. That connection is huge. In fact, whole generations like Gen Z, they value the opinions of their peers more than their elders, which I don't know. I get to the point now and I'm like, okay, come gather around. Let me tell you Jen Campbell's story, because I don't want you to have all the same poor decisions that I made that had the negative consequences. Just listen to me so you can avoid this one thing.
It's very true. In fact, I had a group of young people here about 2 years ago. My nephew invited some folks over, and it was probably about 10 people. And they just were so mesmerized by things that I had done. And I would say to them, just ask me a question.
Ooh, I love it. Yes, yes.
Just ask me a question.
And it's a great chance to connect. I love those stories. Like my grandmother is a storyteller. She's going to be 93 in August. My grandfather's 92 now, but he's got dementia. He'll remember things from a long time ago, but he still knows who I am. I don't live close to him. He lives in Washington. I'm in Idaho. But having those relationships, the connection, the stories, the memory, it's huge. Your personal brand story, who you are, your journey. Even if you grew up in a small town and you think it's ordinary, it's not.
The ordinary piece. So to your point that you were bringing up about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, I've had that same feeling when I listen to some of the influencers and some of the motivational speakers, and they'll tell their story, and their story is just so painful. And I don't have a story like that.
That's okay. And I don't necessarily unpack all my trauma every time I tell my story and who I am. I like to say, this is where I am now. Now, part of who I am is some of those things that happen. I'm not going to throw everyone under the bus or talk about things, because not everyone deserves that portion of my story. Because the ordinary, it's that common thing that bonds us. Glasser talks about like the hierarchy of needs, and one of them is connection and belonging. So doing that connection through your story, if it's the story that resonates more, the other story can be impressive and it's great and it's powerful and it's inspiring. But knowing that person is real. I always say that show up as your authentic self. You don't need to show them the hot mess version of who you are, but give them the warm mess.
I see that a lot though, the hot mess version.
That's the other extreme. It doesn't matter. No. But Mother's Day a couple years ago, one of the best posts that I ever had, most engagement, people like commenting and everything like that. I had the picture where we're all lined up, my 4 boys, husband and I, under the nice mountains in the background and everything. And right below that, I had the picture, one of the 97 million that I had to take to get to that. One brother has the other one in a headlock. One is picking his nose. One is rolling his eyes. And I was like, Happy Mother's Day. This is reality. This is how we want it to be. This is reality. And people were like, thank you for being real. Thank you for showing it, because it's not always roses and sunshine and sparkles. People have struggles.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So I was drawn to the cringy mom community. Tell me more about that as we bring our conversation to a close. And then also I'd like for you to share what's next.
Yes, I would love to do that. I have the Cringe Forward community that I just started, and people can go to cringeforward.com. I have a membership subscription that's $9 a month. And that is a space where you can show up authentically, to be able to have a safe environment, to be able to create content, to go live and practice just showing up just as you are, cringe and all, to be able to build a wildly successful business online because I needed that. I needed some place that I could let my hair down and share my struggles and have a sense of community and connection. Life as an entrepreneur can be very isolating. I work in my little office in my room in a little community with less than 3,000 people. So creating that online community and an environment that is uplifting, inspiring, and also has that accountability, which is the number one thing. Because I know I'm supposed to make the TikToks and I know I'm supposed to make the short form video content, and then I don't do it. Who holds me accountable? It's like having that running buddy that shows up every morning at 5:30 in the morning that's, okay, get out of bed. It's time to work out. You're training for that marathon. If you're sitting on the couch every single day, you're never going to be prepared. If you're sitting on the sidelines of your business, you're never going to be prepared to be able to make the kind of income that you want to provide the quality of life that you desire.
I love the fact that it's a sort of a screening room, if you will.
Yes. And once a week, there's going to be a cringe forward challenge. So you have a specific task that you'll be able to do to be able to help propel you to where you want to be in your business. The other thing, once a month, there'll be a Q&A session where people can ask all their personal branding questions and anything that they want to know related to social media. And then you get to post your cringiest post of the week and your best piece of content so that we can just embrace it. And I had a creative writing class in high school and they would give you, or college, they'd give you like constructive criticism. And basically everyone would just tear you apart and make you feel like garbage. That's not what it's about. I want a place, and I've created it because it's what I needed, where especially women could show up authentically online and know that their voice has value, their message has meaning, and they deserve to be heard.
You are serving that community so well with the opportunity to actually show up as who they are, present themselves, present their efforts, what's in their hearts, and have more support.
Heck yeah. It's scary. And you'll get shut down. You might get trolls say, who does she think she is? Who is she to get on social media and say that she's an expert about whatever? You are you. No one can tell your story better than you. No one has had your life experiences that you have. No one has the expertise that you have because, like you mentioned before, you're a unique individual.
Absolutely. You are definitely a unique individual, Jen Campbell. I certainly do appreciate you allowing me to have some time in your day. It has been energizing.
It's a way to reinforce my personal brand. Not everyone wants to put themselves out there. But I looked today and I've had over 3.5 million views of my gifts. I know. And I'm like, dude, has everyone used them? No. But it's fun to me. Like I have one that's like awkward drop in and I've got like my head tilting into the side that people find humor in that.
And we need some humor.
And my personal mission is to teach, uplift, encourage, and inspire others. And that's one way I can do it is through social media. Follow me on social media and they can get a little bit of Jen Campbell love in their life.
We will put all your contact information in the notes for this show. So again, I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity with you today. I hope this is not the last time that we talk. Thank you so much for the time that you've given the Next Chapter Experience. It's been a delight.
Thank you. I really appreciate you and everything that you're doing.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Next Chapter Experience. If you have already subscribed, rated, and left a review, or shared this podcast with a friend, many, many thanks. For questions, comments, or feedback, reach out to me at Jeanette Blissett at nextchapterexperience.com. We'll be back with more conversations, so until then, keep that fire burning.